We're going to measure and record pulse, respirations, and blood pressure. So just like any skill, we're going to knock before entering. We're going to identify and greet the resident. We are going to explain the procedure, perform hand hygiene, and provide for privacy. So that's always our first steps. And we're going to first verbalize to the tester that we would put our resident into a seated or reclining position. From there, we would find the radial pulse by putting your middle 2 or 3 fingers on the palm side of the resident's wrist, on the thumb side next to that radius bone. And we're going to continue to hold the wrist, and we're going to count this for 30 seconds. If it's regular. In practice, if it's irregular, we would always count for 1 minute. So to count for 30 seconds, I'm going to use an analog clock, and I'm going to pick a number and tell my tester, for example, I'm going to start counting at the 6, and I'm going to count every pulse that I feel starting at the 6 all the way to the 12, okay? We count from one number to the opposite side of the clock. That's going to be your 30 seconds, okay? And we have to double that to chart correctly because we actually chart in minutes. So if we count for half of a minute or 30 seconds, we're just going to double that. And that's what we're going to write down, okay? Now, while we continue to hold the wrist, because in the real world, we do not want our patients to know that we're counting respirations so that they don't breathe differently. We're going to keep our hands here, and we're going to start counting respirations when we see the chest rise. So again, with the tester, we're going to pick out a number, and we're going to say, okay, this time I'm going to start counting at the 7, okay? So now I'm going to watch for chest rise, chest fall, 1 respiration. Chest rise, chest fall, 2 respirations, okay? And again, we're counting for 30 seconds. So I started at the 7, I will go all the way to the opposite side of that, which would be the 2. Yes, I'm sorry, the 1. I can't read a clock evidently, right? Okay, and again, that's 30 seconds. If their respirations were irregular, I would count for a minute. But since we did 30 seconds, again, we have to double that. Now I'm ready to write down my numbers, okay? So if I had counted 35 on the pulse, I'm gonna chart, because I have to double that, I'm gonna chart 70. Okay, I had to double the 35 to 70 beats per minute. And if I had counted 8 respirations, then I would double that and chart 16 respirations, okay? Now I am ready to recount respirations if I'm unsure, record everything, and the pulse has to be within 5 numbers of what is on our arm to be considered correct, okay? And the respirations as well have to be within 5 in order to be considered correct. So you have some leeway there that you will have to make sure and get that right. So next, we're going to tell the instructor that we would put their arm, entire lower arm, on a flat surface. We'd expose the arm as much as possible, which means like pulling up sleeves or doing anything that we would need to do to make sure we have as much room as possible. And we're going to squeeze the cuff to expel any remaining air and turn the valve clockwise until it stops. Now don't do this super hard. You're just barely turning it until it stops. because if you get it too tight, it's really, really hard to unscrew when you're ready to listen to your blood pressure, okay? So, next, we would wrap the cuff snugly around the upper arm at least 1 inch above the elbow. And again, we're verbalizing this. Now, we are going to clean the stethoscope. So you're going to take your alcohol pad. I'm going to clean the diaphragm and the earpieces. And you always do this in practice between every single, at least the diaphragm, every single resident, so we don't, you know, it's an infection control issue, right? Now, once this is clean, I'm going to locate the brachial artery at the inner aspect of the elbow. Now, the brachial artery we know is on the pinky side of the arm, and we're going to find that in the bend of the arm here, which is called the antecubital area. So, on the machine, you will not feel a brachial pulse. On people, you would, but on this, you will not. So just so you know that ahead of time, okay? We are finding this so the tester knows we know where to put our stethoscope, okay? So next, I'm gonna put the earpieces in the stethoscope in my ears. Make sure it's facing forward, okay, when I put them in. And I'll place the diaphragm over the brachial artery. I like to use 2 fingers on each side to keep the stethoscope still so that I don't have any background noise from this thing moving around, okay? So now I am ready to inflate the cuff. I'm making sure I go over at least 160. I'm going to very, very slowly start to turn the bulb counterclockwise so that I can move the needle slow and steady. Now I'm listening for the very first beat I hear and the very last beat that I hear. Okay, and you'll notice the sound is very light at first, gets louder, and then goes back down to a lighter sound. So you really have to listen hard for those first and last beats, okay? Now, once I have listened to that, I am going to chart I'm going to remove the cuff, record my blood pressure on paper, and that reading has to be within 4